What's going on, everybody? It's EricRayweather back here, and in today's video I've got some very important information that's kind of been sliding way under the radar as it pertains to Madden 21 on the next generation consoles, the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X. Now this is some news that really none of us expected, and it looks to be true, at least from what we've seen so far. So we're going to get into that in just a second. But if you are new to the channel and you always want to be up to date on the latest Madden news, tips, updates, especially the next gen updates as the game should be releasing soon, make sure to subscribe, turn on the bell icon so that you never miss any of these important uploads when they go live. Now, the biggest thing for gaming this year is the fact that we are going to next gen, with Microsoft releasing the Xbox Series X on November the 10th and Sony releasing PlayStation 5 on November the 12th. And the biggest thing for Madden this year was, hey, we're going to get 2 generations of Madden this year. We already know we got current gen, and EA even came out and said for their games like Madden and FIFA that they were going to offer dual entitlement, meaning if you bought the games on current gen, you can upgrade for free to next gen. So let's say you bought Madden in August when it came out, and then here comes November, you're like, all right, I want to go buy the PlayStation 5. Well, you wouldn't have to buy Madden 21 again. You could just upgrade it for free. And the fact they came out with this news and also came out with a little bit of information and a couple of few clips and a little bit of a mini trailer, we thought, okay, cool, we're going to have this game as soon as the next gen consoles launch. Well, we're getting very close to those next gen consoles now, and we've really heard nothing else about Madden or FIFA for that matter, because they both kind of release around the same time, which again is August. Now, the crazy thing about this is when you look at NBA 2K, they've been putting out tons of news for 2K21 on next gen. They released a full gameplay trailer a couple weeks ago, and then pretty much every week for the last maybe 2 to 3 weeks, they've been releasing new gameplay information, tons of new information. They're basically rebuilding the game, at least for the most part, it looks like, and they have been, diving into all these new great changes that are coming to the game that look pretty good. Meanwhile, every day, people are saying, where's the Madden footage? Where's the gameplay? Hey, the game is probably going to be the exact same game because we haven't seen anything yet, or the game is going to still have issues because we know Madden 21 on current gen, probably the most issues we've seen for a Madden game this early in the year. It's just not a good year for Madden, and a lot of people are scared, saying, well, it looks like we're going to have the same problems on next gen if EA is still yet to show us anything or even really talk about it, and the systems are coming out in a couple weeks. What gives? Well, here is the kicker. Now, over at Operation Sports, Steve Noah did an article a couple days ago that touched on what could actually be happening here. And I'm going to read this article. It's a brief article, not very long, but pay attention to this. So the title of the article says Madden 21 and FIFA 21 might not arrive at launch for next-gen consoles. That's pretty interesting. And so it says here, while nothing is official, it appears both Madden 21 and FIFA 21 will release after the next-gen consoles have been released, not at launch. Last week, Microsoft revealed a list of launch day games, which would be fully optimized and released on launch day, November 10th, for the Xbox Series X and the Xbox Series S. Both Madden 21 and FIFA 21 were missing from this list. Maybe because they were a EA dual entitlement game and they didn't make the cut? Maybe. Then it says here, Sony is yet to reveal a similar list, and the PlayStation 5 console releases on November 12th. While browsing the PlayStation Store, you can see NBA 2K21 listed as a pre-order for the PlayStation 5. However, searching for Madden 21 or FIFA 21 only provides PlayStation 4 games. No pre-orders for the PlayStation 5 versions of the game. Some smoke is rising. EA never gave us a definitive release date on the next-gen version of Madden 21 and FIFA 21, but most assumed it would be a launch day game, much like NBA 2K21. 2K has burned that release date into our brains. Those of us lucky enough to have placed a pre-order for the next-gen consoles know the exact release date of the upcoming NBA basketball game. EA, on the other hand, has been silent on the release date for the next-gen football game. In June, EA gave us some details and features for next-gen Madden, NFL, and FIFA 21, but since then, we haven't heard much else. Now, I went over all of those details that they did give us back in June. There were some brief details, some good information in there. I'll link it below in the pinned comment because it's pretty much all we have to go off of for next-gen right now, but there is some pretty interesting stuff there that they're looking to do with next-gen. Now, to finish out this article really quickly here, it says, will we see next-gen Madden 21 and FIFA 21 at launch? Will it be later this year? Could it possibly arrive in early 2021? What are your thoughts? Now, this is actually really interesting because EA has not said anything about a release date. We all just assumed it was going to drop as soon as the consoles drop, because that's typically, from what I can remember in past generations, how it went down. NBA 2K21, pretty much the other biggest player in sports games, is doing the same thing. They're dropping right at launch, and they're letting us know every week. They're putting all the information out there. They're making sure we know every single thing about the game and what it looks like and all that good stuff. EA has not said a word. And we're just assuming, well, because 2K is doing it, because typically in the past Madden has done this, and because of the dual entitlement, you would assume that the game is going to drop at launch, because if you're going to offer dual entitlement, you want to give people, a chance to really take advantage of that. Now, let's say this drops in January or February. Well, you don't really have a lot of time to take advantage of that dual entitlement, because then you only have a few months and then Madden 22 comes out. Meanwhile, if it were to release at launch in November, then you've got, a few more months to really fully take advantage of that dual entitlement. And since they were pushing that dual entitlement so heavy, I mean, literally, even every few days on Twitter and their social accounts, they're posting, hey, don't forget dual entitlement for Madden 21. If you buy it on current gen, you can get it free on next gen. They keep hammering that home, which would make you think it's going to drop at launch. However, they've said nothing about it yet. The launch day games for Xbox does not have these games listed. Like the article said, for the PlayStation Store, if you go to the pre-orders for these games, all you see is the PlayStation 4. You don't see the PlayStation 5 version of the game. But they made this dual entitlement such a big selling point for current gen, saying, hey, look, we know next gen's coming out a few months after the game, but don't worry, you can upgrade free. So feel free, have no fear, buy it on current gen. Now, if this were to somehow come out months later, now we don't know that that's happening. They could still release it at launch, but it's really looking like that's not going to happen. Maybe they release it at Christmas, which wouldn't be so bad. But if they release this months later, people are going to have a very big gripe, because there was a lot of people that probably weren't planning to get this game for current gen, especially after seeing, some of the early reviews and how bad the game was. There was a lot of people that probably weren't going to get this game. They were just like, I'll just wait for next gen because I know I'm getting my next gen console. But when they kept seeing all this advertising of, well, you can upgrade it for free, well, then it just kind of made, no sense not to get it on current gen. It was a no-brainer, because it's like, well, you can still get some type of enjoyment maybe out of the game for now, and then when next gen comes out, the game can just transfer over. So no harm, no foul. You're not buying it twice. But if that game were to come out many months later now, people would have a big gripe with EA over that. So I'm really curious to see when it comes out, how late it comes out, and just if we're going to get any information about this in general anytime soon, because as of right now, I mean, we got a little bit of info from months ago, but it's very basic stuff. It doesn't tell us anything about, is anything being rebuilt. We haven't seen any like real gameplay in action or anything like that. So honestly, I'm kind of worried that this isn't dropping at launch now, based on what we've been seeing as of late. What do you guys think? Do you think it's going to drop at launch? Do you think it's not ready? Do you think it's getting pushed back? I would rather them take a little bit more time the more I think about it, because of how bad the current gen version of the game is. I talked about this in another video. If we're gonna have the same experience on next gen, but it just looks a little bit prettier, that's still not gonna be a good game. I wouldn't mind waiting an extra month, maybe early December, mid-December, and say, hey, the game's gonna be, a lot more polished. It's gonna, they put a little bit more time into it, right? I would rather see that. But again, if they don't drop it until January or February, something like that, then people are going to have a gripe with, hey, I bought it on current gen with this, mindset that I'd be able to get it early into the release of the consoles, and it's not dropping at launch. So we'll see what happens. But as of right now, it looks like we might not be actually getting the game at launch. So I hope you enjoyed this video and found it informative. Let me know what you think below. And as always, I will catch you guys next time.